Computer. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. I have Laura with me. She is a nutritionist, actually a dietitian, which is better qualifications, actually, and a certified GAPS practitioner. And she's in Seattle, but she takes clients that are in the program that I run, the Histamine Intolerance Cure Mast Cell Activation Syndrome course that I run, which you don't know, if you don't know, that's GAPS based. It's gut and psychology syndrome. It's a specific diet basically to heal your gut so that your gut stops overproducing histamine because really it's your gut that's overproducing histamine. It's your gut that's reacting to foods that aren't digested properly. It's your gut that doesn't have the bacteria to create the enzymes to break down histamine. It's a whole thing going on in your gut. So Laura specializes in that. She's walked through it with herself and her daughter. She's learned a lot, like myself, of what not to do. And now she coaches people on how to do it properly. And she's just been such an amazing addition to Grounded Approach. She's the only other person that works here. And one thing I like about her is I constantly have people say when they talk to me, like, oh, I really like your grounded approach. And then they're like, haha, that's your name. I feel like Laura has that too. She's very grounded. She's not like super restricted for the rest of your life. This food's evil, that food's evil. She just understands the body. She understands the gut, and she understands how to like temporarily heal it so that you can introduce God-made whole foods back into your diet eventually. So I just really appreciate that about her. I feel like I can trust her kind of discernment with food and the body. And so she's going to share her story today. And I think everyone's going to really like it, just hearing everything she's gone through and where she's at now. So, do you want to introduce yourself, Laura?
Sure, yeah. Like Heather said, yeah, I'm a registered dietitian and kind of have been in the field for a while, and also a GAPS practitioner. And I got my GAPS certification, I guess, when was that? In 2020, I think. Yeah, is when I got my certification for that. And yeah, I've been kind of in the nutrition field for a while and actively practicing it myself on myself with my daughter, and yeah, it's been quite the journey. Definitely lots of ups and downs, but made tremendous progress, and just kind of at a place now where I enjoy helping others and helping people on their healing journey. And just, yeah, I'm excited to be here and be a part of Heather's practice. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Okay. So one thing I
So,
love about Laura too is that she did more of the traditional, if you don't know, a dietitian is more like USDA food pyramid based research, I would say. Like, but they do have to go through
oh
a
yeah.
lot of training. And so what's cool about Laura is she kind of worked in the allopathic Western medicine in hospitals. So she has all that experience. You worked with people specializing in like diabetes for a long time, right? So she kind of did that and then she moved into a different approach, which is GAPS. So do you want to share a little bit
Yeah.
about that?
Sure, yeah. Well, I went to college at Seattle Pacific University, and then from there, I had to do a dietetic internship for about a year after graduating with my bachelor's degree in nutritional science. And then after my dietetic internship, I worked inpatient in the hospital setting for about a year. So working up on the inpatient floors, mainly like surgical floors, cardiac rehab, and just recommending nutrition support regimens to patients there. Did more of the hospital stuff, which could have involved tube feedings, that type of thing, and kind of quickly realized that that wasn't, where I wanted to be for an extended period of time. But it was really good experience. Definitely learned a lot. And then after that, I worked outpatient, and that was in the diabetes clinic, and did that for several years. taught a lot of diabetes education classes. That was kind of the focus there. So worked a lot with type 2 diabetics, but we also saw like people with type 1 diabetes as well. But the bulk was probably more type 2 diabetics or women with gestational diabetes as well. And so, yeah, that was all great experience on the clinical side of things. And yeah, it was great to get that experience and have that in my toolkit. But at the same time, I knew that I wanted more of a, not necessarily alternative approach, but it just wasn't like what I was really hoping for with the nutrition education. And eventually, years later, I ended up going back to school and got my master's at Bastyr University. And yeah, that was wonderful. Learned a ton kind of on both sides of the spectrum there because I would say, a good balance of both
Mm.
there. You get kind of all the clinical stuff, but then also some of the more holistic approach that's intertwined into the curriculum there. So that was great, great experience, a lot of work. Um, and while I was there, I also completed a thesis. So I had to write a thesis to get my master's, and um, I was interested in food allergies and all that. So my thesis was on a elimination diet that looked at just the effectiveness of using that in patients with arthritis. So I conducted it in an arthritis clinic, and it was a very small study, but it did show improvement in their symptoms. And that was really good experience. And yeah, so after or during that time, I also gave birth to my daughter and had a little bit of I had to take, oh, what was it? I don't know, a year or so, maybe a year and a half or more off. And before I could actually complete the writing
Mm.
portion of my thesis during that time. And a lot of that was also just due to my health, kind of plummeting, my daughter's health, and I just had to take time to focus on that and get us to a place where we could function better.
And so during that
Yes.
time, what was your health? Like, what was happening with your health and your daughter's health?
Yeah. So, well, just to backtrack a little bit, I should kind of give you an idea of where I was coming from and then why my health kind of took a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up with allergies, eczema, all of it. And from the time I was just little, I had, rash around my mouth, uh, really severe eczema on my hands and the back of my arms. And our household, my mom was very into nutrition and eating well, but even at that, we still had even though a lot of the food was made from scratch, okay, we're still making all the cookies and desserts, and
Mm,
there was just still all the other stuff in there in addition to,
totally.
everything else. So despite that, still struggled with the allergies and the eczema basically my entire life. And when I got to college, I would say things worsened in terms of I still had the eczema, but due to just college diet, not eating good food, I also started to have really severe uh, periods during that time, and to the point of, vomiting uh, and having to be in bed all day. So that got really severe in college, combined with the eczema. And then after I had my daughter, I would say my health just kind of started. slowly declining. And I think a lot of it was stress related. And I think I was also very depleted. And I think a combination of those two things just really took a toll. Um, my
Nothing
daughter
like
was
stress, a
born.
stressful period to just resurface your symptoms that have been dormant for a while, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty much what happened. And, my daughter was born very healthy, but probably within a matter of weeks, she started getting eczema patches all over her legs and wasn't gaining enough weight. So that was what kind of triggered the stress, I would say, in the first place. And then I wasn't able to produce enough breast milk. And so, yeah, and my eczema started getting worse. And one thing just kind of led to another. Uh, she still wasn't gaining enough weight. Eventually, I had to supplement with like a homemade goat milk formula at 4 months for her. And I think she was also reacting to that, but what could you do? So yeah, and I just continued to get worse. My skin just kept getting worse. She didn't nap, and so
Oh my
it was kind of,
gosh.
when you're
That's
in that situation of early motherhood, you don't know what's going on and you're stressed out and then your baby doesn't nap, and so the only time she would nap would be if I was pushing her in a stroller out on a walk, and then we would bring the stroller in the house and like bring it up the front steps, put it through the front door, carefully close the door. A matter of, I don't know, minutes later she'd wake up,
Mm.
crying. So so yeah, that was, as moms will know, that was stressful. And I think I just got very depleted. I was eating nonstop. I couldn't gain weight. So true, big sign. Okay, my gut was very damaged and lots going on there. Let's see. From there, like I said, I kept getting worse. I went to see this practitioner that, kind of did a variety of things, did recommended some homeopathic remedies and some other stuff. And she gave me like, I don't know, 3 or 5 homeopathic remedies at one time. And I've always been a very sensitive person. And I started taking these and I just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then I
Wow.
didn't know if it was from that, if I would have been getting worse anyway. I have no idea. And one morning I woke up and my whole face had just like, blown up, rash, swelling, everything on one side. Um, and from then on, I was just super inflamed, had major histamine reaction stuff going on. And yeah, it just kept going. Eventually I ended up getting diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And I think it was due to being so inflamed. And that kind of runs in my family, so not that surprising.
A big
So
thing. A lot of people
yeah,
have
so then I thought,
Hashimoto's.
yeah, yeah. So, and I was still, I just couldn't figure out what I was reacting to. So it was just major histamine stuff all the time. I started, I got welts all over my low back. They would just come and go. My neck. I remember it being on my arms, and then to the really severe extent of things, I was getting like tightening in my throat that would come and go, which was very scary. I didn't know if it was like going to turn into anaphylaxis or what, but yeah, it was pretty scary. And I sought out, oh boy, all kinds of other practitioners. I saw more of an allergist type of doctor that gave me like immunotherapy to decrease my histamine sensitivity. helped a little bit.
Mm.
Still, didn't really resolve anything. I saw a different nutritionist that thought it was salicylates, so went on a low salicylate diet. Then I went on a low histamine diet, saw little bits of improvement, but still, I was just, yeah, down to eating a handful of foods, like so many people end up in that place. And boy, eventually I sought out a naturopath that specialized in the NAET. I'm trying to remember what it stands for. It's like
Nabutropod
it's a
allergy
really weird
elimination
name. I can't.
testing.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. So kind of a long name. And she saw me, boy, probably for close to 2 years, treating me for all the things that I was reacting to. And I combined that with a classical homeopath that had been practicing for a really long time. And between the two of them, they were able to get my reactivity down to where I could be, somewhat leading a normal life. So, and I kind of landed on a paleo-ish type of diet. I did not tolerate grains well or
Mm.
legumes or any of that, just caused severe digestive issues for me. I had already been gluten-free for a very long time, prior to all this happening as well. So anyway, that's when things finally calmed down for me. In the meantime, my daughter was also getting worse and worse.
Wow.
Yeah, I discovered gaps
So, real
throughout this
quick,
whole process.
did you do
Uh-huh.
NAT and homeopathy for her? And did that help at all? Because I don't mind those things. Like I did NAT a long time ago. I didn't really see any benefit, but I don't think I really had any issues. I think I was more just really curious and like anyway.
What it was.
Homeopathy I've seen
Yeah.
success from too, but the way I kind of see them is they're really helpful, but with histamine stuff, it's more like sprinkles on the top, where like the groundwork is the gut, and that can kind of be helpful. But yeah, I'm just curious if that helped your daughter.
No, it didn't
Okay.
actually. We tried almost every homeopathic remedy under the sun for her. I was taking her to the same homeopath that I saw, and we just couldn't find anything that would work for her, unfortunately. And I didn't do a lot of the NAET with her. So we would just kind of test things. And, now looking back, yeah, I mean, it was helpful, but I agree with you. And I think it's more of something, yeah, if there's stuff lingering or
Yeah.
things that, you could add it on to the healing protocol. I
Yes,
don't think it's the
because
be all end all.
if your
Yeah.
gut is severely inflamed and you're reacting to dairy and grains and stuff, doing these little homeopathic remedies, like I think it can be amazing, but that's not going to fix, that's not going to make your body not react to things. If it's like doing eye
Correct.
surgery when you're having
Yeah.
a heart attack, you know, it's in my opinion.
Right. Right. Yeah. I agree. And, even after I'd gone through 2 years of that, I was still having issues. I was at a point where, okay, I can manage, but my gut was not
Mm,
healed. I still had reactivity and things that would happen, but it just wasn't to the extent where it was before.
yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, I was functioning, but yeah, still needed a lot of healing with my gut to happen for sure. Yeah. So,
So you found
yeah.
gaps for your
So,
daughter first.
mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, go for it.
Yes. So, yeah. So her eczema really exploded when I stopped breastfeeding her, I would say. And I can't remember. I feel like she was like a year and a half or so. I honestly, I can't remember exactly what point. It's all a blur. But uh yeah, and that's when it started getting really bad. And I think I started her on it when she was around 3 years old, the GAPS diet. And I was just like, didn't know what to do. I was just searching for anything that would help. Because at that point, her eczema was so severe. When we gave her a bath, she would just scream bloody murder. I mean, it was just a horrible process to the point where I just didn't even want to bathe her because it was so awful. And yeah, she'd be scratching at it all night. And yeah, it was severe. She was just covered and had it on her face as well. And it was pretty miserable. And so anyway, found the GAPS diet, attempted it on my own. We started with the intro and don't think I would recommend doing that
No.
today. Especially with a little kid because you don't know what's going on inside their body and they have a hard time verbalizing to you, their pain or discomfort. And it's just really hard to know what's happening. And yeah, started making the meat stock. I definitely didn't do it right in the beginning. I think I added way too much water. And so it was like this super diluted meat stock. And yeah, so we started her on it. I remember her not eating anything for like 3 days. She refused to have anything. And then all of a sudden she was just starving and she ate a whole chicken in one day. And I'll never forget that. And
And I want to say
yeah,
something
from
real
then on
quick.
out, I mean,
Can I just say
yeah,
that's really common. If you have a kid out there and they're like maybe a picky eater or maybe not, and they do gaps and they do not eat, that is so common. Their taste buds are readjusting. This food does not taste good to them. Not only that, it's like detoxing things. They're having detox reactions.
yeah,
But your children
yeah,
have something wired into them where they will not starve themselves. So it can look like it. And I've heard of stories where
right.
people, the kids don't eat for 7 to 10 days. And then, same exact thing. They eat a whole chicken, they're eating liver, they're eating, you know, tallow. So I just love that you shared that because
Yeah.
I think that freaks a lot of moms out.
Yeah, yeah. And I will say, I was scared. I was just like, oh my goodness, am I doing the right thing? Is she gonna be okay? And, but she was fine. I mean, she really was. She was just fine. And she knew when she was ready to eat. And yeah, she ate the whole chicken. So, um, yeah. And then from there on out, it was she definitely had a lot of histamine stuff going on and there would be big explosions, so we went way too fast with all of it, with introducing the stock, with introducing the ferments, and there were periods where she was very uncomfortable. um but I didn't know what else to do. I was like, I can't go back to where we were.
Yes.
I have to just have faith and know that this is hopefully going to eventually work. And
And I just
so
want to
we just
say,
kept moving ahead.
Sorry, I keep butting in, but I know there's so many moms who
Oh
this is
no.
their exact story. So I just want to say, like, if that's you and you're listening and you're like, yes, I accidentally jumped on intro or full gaps and I'm going through it and I'm freaking out and now it's getting worse. What do I do? Just my 2 cents. You don't have to run back to the other diet. We know that's not good, but just decrease the ferments like
Right.
crazy. Like when people are in this situation, I'm like, remove all ferments and then come back with maybe a drop.
Yeah.
I see that helpful a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree completely. And it's like, boy, just to think back and wish I had, that guidance during that time. Um, but yeah, so it was a very long process. We were on the intro. Oh my goodness. Forever. It seemed we just couldn't get off the intro. And again, I think part of it was I wasn't making stock the right way. So it probably wasn't as healing as it should have been. And yeah, it was just a very, very slow process for us. But eventually, yeah, she made progress, and I saw that progress and decided that I was going to put myself on it because I was still having flares and issues as well, and put myself on it. And of course, I started in the with the intro as well, but at that point, I would say my body was at a place where it wasn't, as severe. And so when I went through intro, and I was also more familiar with the whole process. I probably went slower with myself than I did with her, and it just wasn't as, you know, difficult as an experience as it was when I put her on it. I probably just because, yeah, I was more familiar with it and didn't move so quickly through it all with the ferments, especially. So, yeah.
It's hard for people to wrap their
And
mind
what
around the
else?
fact. Oh, sorry. It's hard for people to wrap their mind around the fact that fermented foods are so strong because some people will be taking like some probiotic and they'll have like two or three a day. Most people not with the histamine stuff, but some people will, and then they're shocked when they introduce like sauerkraut or something. They don't realize that a drop is so powerful. A drop of
Yeah.
sauerkraut juice, a drop of milk is like more than multiple probiotic pills. So then they're just like, oh yeah, I just started with a tablespoon. It's like that's a whole bottle of probiotic pills or more. So yeah, it's really good
Yeah, kind
to
of crazy.
understand that.
Yeah, yeah, it's very powerful. It's pretty amazing that it can be that strong. Yeah, you just think, oh, it's food, and yeah, little do you know.
Yeah. So
So,
how long
yeah.
did it take your daughter to start seeing some of the eczema clear up? Or what was the first sign that you noticed you were on the right track, I guess?
Oh, let me see here. I feel like boy, it was slow. Probably, I would say maybe 2, 3 months in, maybe 3 months in. It took time that I probably started to see some, just signs of encouragement, I guess. But skin is funny that way, and that, it tends to just linger. And I will say, I think her bowel movements and mood and probably sleep, I think that probably improved before the skin, if I
Mhm.
think about it. The
That's
skin,
very consistent with what I see with people. They usually go on something because of a big skin issue or some specific
mhm,
histamine thing, and they're so focused on that. But they do notice their sleep's improving, their moods are balancing, their bowel movements are
yeah,
getting better. And then it's unfortunately, it's like usually our big symptom that we're trying so hard to get rid of
yeah,
is the last one to clear. But I love
yeah.
those signs because those are such important signs that you're kind of moving in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, so I would say it was more of that. I think more better digestion and mood, and then slowly but surely over time, the skin started improving. And I did eventually start working with some GAPS practitioners because I was just like, I need help. I'm just I'm kind of like lost in this maze. And so I ended up working with, I don't know. I think we went through two different people, and eventually, I don't, back at that time, I don't know how tuned in people were to like histamine stuff and
I
how
had no
slow you have
idea
to
when I first
go.
started. I had no idea. And I was a
Yeah,
GAPS practitioner, and I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And, okay, we'll just start with half a teaspoon of sauerkraut juice. And now I'm like, we don't even start with sauerkraut juice. We don't even start with any probiotics because it's too much if you have histamine issues.
too
Yeah.
much. Yeah, yeah. So I think at that time, yeah, it was just like people, just all of us practitioners, just weren't that familiar with how to deal with that histamine side of things and the reactivity that happens when you have histamine issues. Um, so yeah, so I did end up working with a couple practitioners along the way, and yeah, so she is now a happy, healthy 14-year-old girl. I can't believe I'm saying 14. It just flies by. But yeah, so we've had, our ups and downs. There's been obstacles, mold being one of them, but overall, in the big scheme of things, things are just way better than they ever were before. And, we're always going to be sensitive people and always, we're never going to be able to go back to like standard American diet or anything like that. Just in order to,
But
keep our
why would
bodies
you want
healthy
to?
and keep us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's
I mean,
what
there's no need. Yeah.
I'm always saying, like, you should be able to go back to whole foods. Maybe, there are some people who are like, they still don't do well with cow dairy or they still don't do well with A1 dairy or something like that. That's
Yeah.
fine. You can live with that.
Yeah.
You can still travel and do things. And like, we just don't want you not being able to eat any food. And,
Right.
like the solution is not being on a super duper restricted carnivore diet where you have to get your low histamine meat shipped to you every week. That's not sustainable. That's not healing.
Right. No. And it's just, yeah, you don't want to have to deal with that, yeah, forever. There's, yeah, a better, a better place to be at.
Yeah.
So, for
And
sure. Yeah.
side note, you
Yeah.
guys,
And I'm one of those people. Or,
oh, sorry. It looks like my internet's bad.
uh,
Sorry, real quick. I'm going to try to
oh,
fix my internet because I'm
oh, that's
realizing
okay.
that it's, um, sorry, I just wanted to ask, you also went to Hawaii last week. So what's that like now when
Yeah.
you go to Hawaii? Is that fine to do that for you guys?
Yeah. Well, actually, my daughter's skin was wonderful there. The salt water, the sun, it was great. So that was really good for her to get that sun and salt water. So yeah, we can manage. I mean, I still cook most of our meals in, which that's just what I do and what I'm used to doing. And I usually just pack cooler of meat with us just to make it easy and we bring it on the plane. Now, obviously, people don't have to do that. They could go and get, meat at the Costco or something there, but it's just kind of easy. And I just have it all with me. And then we just go to the farmers markets there and get produce to put with whatever I brought along because we were there for like a week. And so, just to, I mean, a lot of it is keep costs down, I guess, for one. Everything's very expensive there. So that's also partly why I did that. But yeah, so we went out to dinner a couple times. So it is possible. But I still, I can't have gluten. I think a lot of it is still just the autoimmune issue that I have. And I can't have cow's milk dairy, but I can do goat and sheep. So, I just do that instead and it works out just fine. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so it went well and yeah, we're just kind of used to it. So, and we also have to travel a lot. My daughter plays soccer, so we do a lot of travel for that too. Yeah.
That's how I feel
So,
too with the food. It's like I don't have to pack my own stuff, and sometimes I don't. But I just like to. You're right. It keeps costs down. You know you're eating healthy
yeah,
food where you're going to feel your best. And so usually we'll get
right.
hotels that have a kitchen of some sort because even
Yeah,
if we don't have any health issues, I want to feel good. And I notice when we go to those birthday
yeah,
parties and my kids have the chocolate sugar cake or whatever, it's like we don't feel
yeah,
good. They don't feel good. It's just not fun. So
yeah,
everyone should do
yeah.
that, regardless of if you have histamine issues or not.
Right. Yeah, it's just easier to feel better, yeah, while you're not at home for sure. Just not having to dine out all the time. And yeah, I mean, it's like with, I don't know how it is in Australia, but with the restaurants, here in America, it's like really hard to find, restaurants that
Yeah.
with healthy food in a healthy way. So yeah.
Yeah, we're in a bubble where I live where we have tons of healthy stuff and farmers market. We're like a subtropical area, a lot of health conscious
Mm,
people by the water, but it's still so expensive. So we buy like a little bit
yeah.
of the fun stuff, but most of it is very basic. Like it's just expensive. I'm like, I
Oh
can
yeah.
make this better at home, healthier,
Right.
and I would get it out for like a third of the price. So, I mean, from time to time, but yeah, not the norm.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, it's pricey, especially with a family dining out. It adds up
Seriously.
quickly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, well, I love all that. And so, what is like, can I just ask what typically a breakfast, lunch, and dinner looks for you guys now? Are you having beans or legumes or anything that's like off gaps?
We aren't at the moment, but eventually, yeah, I still want to add in some lentils and legumes and stuff, but we're still pretty, I would say, more on the, paleo-ish side of things, full gaps side of things. And I think a lot of that is just due to we've been dealing with mold issues in our house, and I think it's hinder hindered stuff a little bit. And once that is resolved and we're out, I think our bodies will build a fully,
Yeah, that's a
be
good point.
healed. So,
So, real quick though, so
yeah,
you healed even while you were in mold. Like I know you're still maybe
yes,
more susceptible and it's maybe you're not in perfect health, if that even is a thing, you know. I don't know that anyone's ever in like perfect health like people will claim.
right.
But even being in mold in Washington, you guys have
Yes,
healed. That's really cool to hear.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. So, and I think it's that last straw that will kind of put us in a place where, okay, let's add in some legumes and all that, other things and build a tolerate that stuff. But yeah, so well, my daughter, just having basically grown up on the GAPS diet, she wants some form of meat for breakfast. So she loves pork sausage. So she either has like pork sausage patties or I'll kind of it's really hard to find a good clean bacon here, so I'll just salt pork belly and
Mm.
slice that real thin and fry that up for her for breakfast. And she usually has that with veggies, sauerkraut, some form of like squash, winter squash, or some form of carbohydrate. And I will have sometimes bacon with my eggs, and veggies and squash. I also do a lot of sheep's milk, yogurt or goat's milk yogurt with fruit and seeds, for breakfast. But yeah, she likes a big breakfast. So, and then lunch, yeah, it's really similar. It's a lot of times leftover from dinner. I always cook up extra dinner, like, so I don't have more work for myself the next day. So, right now we tend to do a lot of low and slow cooked meats. So whether it be like a lamb shoulder or, beef brisket, beef roast, shanks, chicken, those type of things that make a lot and that will give us leftovers the next day. And I also mix in ground meats in there too, but usually it's that with, roasted veggies or salad and always a ferment in there, always sauerkraut with every meal. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of it's
Yeah.
yeah, pretty and lots of good fats, lots of ghee, duck fat, tallow, added in there for cooking. And yeah, it's works really well for us and it tastes good.
Yeah. I like that. I
Oh,
like the emphasis on the carbs too, like the squash. We do a lot of
yeah,
beets.
yeah,
Yeah, we do well with carbs. So being on GAPS doesn't
yeah,
mean a lot of people think you have to be really low carb or it's keto. And it's like some people can, especially if you have really severe stuff. I personally don't
yeah,
like that unless it's really necessary because I think restriction is stressful enough.
yeah,
Dealing with health issues is stressful enough. So I'm just trying to give the body as much liberty as possible. But yeah, I love all that. I love the root veggies and all that. And we do a bit of fruit
yeah.
and yes, the dairy. Do you make your own dairy? Like sheep dairy?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so we get raw goat's milk and then I just make that at home here for us. We can't get the raw cow's milk as easily, but we are able to get the raw goat's milk and that's what she tolerates and that's what I tolerate, so I just stick to that. But yeah, I have a little yogurt actually a yogurt maker that I make it in now, but just makes it easier.
It's raw
So
dairy is the best. I'm always telling people like I know a lot of people can't do cow dairy and that's fine, but fermented dairy is incredible. Better than the fermented veggies. Like I love all those. I love the fermented drinks,
yeah,
but the fermented dairy is incredible. So if you can do camel or goat, if you can make
yeah.
that, it can be such a huge part of healing. And it's my kids' favorite. It's so easy for kids. I mean, like I said, we always start with a drop when introducing something or less, but it's like I have never had to be like, all right, eat your fermented veggies. I mean, my kids like sauerkraut too, but they love the yogurt.
The
Yogurt with some
yogurt.
fruit, it is like their favorite thing in the world. And I know it's giving their body such a high dose of probiotics because it's fermented for 24 hours, where the store-bought stuff is like a couple hours.
Oh, I
So it's
know. Yeah.
powerful and it's so good for healing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's a great snack or even dessert. We mix it with fruit and honey and cinnamon for dessert or,
Ooh, honey and
yeah.
cinnamon.
And
That's a good idea.
yeah. Yeah. And I completely agree with the carbs. It's like, I'm somebody that has to have that. And we've been able to be on the full gaps for a long time. And my daughter's very active. She plays soccer. And she needs carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we eat lots of beets and carrots and rutabagas and squash. And I try and include it every meal, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And I'm the
yeah,
same with you as well. Like I make big dinners where I'm like chicken wings, and then we have a whole tray of like pumpkin, beets, lots and lots of pumpkin, because it
yeah,
reheats beautifully for breakfast. Like you just take it
yeah.
out, serve it with some eggs or something, and sauerkraut. You don't really even have to cook. You're just making poached eggs and just like chucking it on top. And that's pretty much the only way I think I'd be able to even, I don't know, do a restricted
Yeah,
diet gaps is having leftovers.
yeah, to make it work. I know it's a lot, lots of cooking, but you learn to enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, I like cooking now. It's kind of therapeutic in a way, the chopping and yeah, I really enjoy cooking and kind
Yeah.
of yeah, at times would just rather cook at home than go out anyway. It's just kind of
Definitely.
nice to do.
I
So,
look forward to when
yeah,
my
I was
kids
gonna.
do that. Well, when my kids are old enough to cook too, I feel like that will be really fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I will say, I should have mentioned this before, but like the whole meat stock thing, I will say that was a struggle to get into my daughter. She's not a soup person and has just never been a soup person. So one way that we've been able to get that in is just giving her a mug of it on the side. She always has wanted her food on a plate and not in a bowl mixed with other things. And then we'll just put the chicken stock or whatever it is in a mug on the side and she'll just gulp that down. But even, during the phases when it was, stage one and two of the intro, and everything had to be soup. As long as I like scooped it out of the bowl and put it on a plate and then kept the liquid part in a mug, she would eat it.
That's a good
So,
idea.
just kind of a little, yeah, trick that it was the only way I could get her to drink the stock. So, so yeah, so everybody's different, but yeah, I don't know why till to this day she's just not a soup person, but
Yeah.
so be it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So,
I'm more of a stock
yeah.
person too. I
So,
like soup. My
yeah,
kids aren't that into it, but they will, again, like if I just heat it up before breakfast and I give them a mug while they're waiting and they're so hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm starving for breakfast. I'm like, here, have
hungry,
your
yeah.
dog. And then they drink it and then, yeah. So I find that to be a lot easier too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, for sure.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't want to take your whole
Yeah.
day. Thanks so much for sharing all that. Yeah, like I said, Laura
Oh,
does
you're welcome.
one appointments. If you're in the Cure Histamine Intolerance and Mast Cell Activation Syndrome group, and yeah, she does one-on-ones. We try to keep the price really low, so it's an additional fee because not everyone wants that. And I would rather have people do a course for less money, and then if they need that extra support, they can do that rather than charge everyone because a lot of people might not want it. And I personally feel like the course has so much information that a lot of people won't need the one-on-one support. But if you do, I'll put Laura's like booking link below. Um, and yeah, she's great to work with. I've had such good feedback from everyone that she's worked with. They love her. So super supportive. And she has that aspect of working with kids that's really helpful. A lot of people don't have that. So that's really cool. Yeah. Well, anyway, okay. Thanks, Laura.
Thank
I'll let you go.
you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
gonna,
Have a good day. Bye.
okay, I'm just
Oh.
gonna